background. Also this morning, I added another 3 of the recent classes to the YouTube channel. So if something comes up and you'd like to revisit the material that we've done before, that's available for you. So as always, in the beginning of class, you may hear a little bell sound, which is just people coming in a little late. Just stay in the flow. If that happens, let's go ahead and find a comfortable seat to get started. So as always, find something that works for your body. If it's comfortable for you to sit with your legs folded like this, that's great. And if not, no worries. You can sit with one leg up or both. You can sit on a cushion or a yoga block, whatever works in your body. And find your way into stillness once you've found that comfortable. You can bring your hands to your heart and close your eyes and just begin to cultivate some nice deep belly breaths, really breathing from the center of your being. Now, as always, as we breathe, let's begin to add a little bit of movement. So on your next inhale, roll out your spine nice and long, sit tall on the mat, and then exhale, soften, melt, soften your spine, your shoulders. And then inhale, find that lifting, lengthening, rising breath again. And exhale to soften. Let's feel that a couple more times. Now on your next exhale, release your hands down to your lap or to a comfortable place. On your inhale, feel that lifting, lengthening, rising breath again. And then this time on your exhale, scoop your belly in, rounding your spine. Inhaling, lifting, lengthening, maybe shifting your breastbone a little bit forward. Exhaling, scooping in, making that C shape with your back. And inhaling, lifting, lengthening. Exhaling to scoop back. So we're feeling some cat-cow energy here. We're already starting to work on loosening the muscles in the back. And there are a lot of places you can go from here. So if this feels perfect right here, you just stay right here in this flow. If you'd like to, you can also begin to thread your heart a little bit lower so you can dive forward, really feeling your back articulate, getting that full expression. So curling, rolling forward, lengthening, lifting, like really bringing in a lot of movement. You can stay doing that going forward. You can also explore, maybe explore like different angles. So feeling the way the back moves. The big thing though is that there's no right or wrong way here, right? The important thing we're all doing right now in this moment is loosening up our backs. And then gently and gradually begin to find your way back to seated, to stillness. Bring your hands to your heart one more time. I invite you to set an intention for your practice this morning, to choose an energy or an idea or even a person to dedicate your practice to. And once that intention is set, release your hands down, walk them forward, and sweep your feet around behind you. Let's make our way into tabletop. We're going to keep working with our backs, so wrists beneath the shoulders, knees come under the hips. On your inhale, roll your heart forward and tip your tailbone to the sky. Exhale, scoop your belly in, drop the crown of your head. Inhaling, rolling open. And exhale to coil. So as always, in this gorgeous cat-cow space, you can do a lot of different stuff. So you can stay right here in cat-cow if this feels amazing. You can also begin to introduce some free-form movement. So maybe that's drawing circles with your rib cage and your hips. Maybe it's shifting from side to side, making sort of like a C shape with the spine, with the body. You can shift forward and back. Really explore here, right? There are so many options available. Just be curious about how this feels, about what your back will do today. And then find your way back to tabletop. Let's draw our knees together underneath our hips for our calf stretch. So we just want them centered so that we're nice and stable. On your inhale, extend your right leg long behind you and lower the tip of your toe to the mat. Begin to press into that right heel. Stretching out the back of your right leg, remembering, of course, that you can always reduce that stretch just by coming out of it a little bit. And then lower your right knee down to the mat to meet the left. On your inhale, extend your left leg long behind you. Lower your toe down to the mat. Let's feel that on the other side, pressing into that left heel, getting a lovely calf stretch. And just breathing, right? Keep your breath long and slow and smooth. The real magic of yoga is the breath and body working together. And then let's lower that left knee down to join the right. From here, we're going to meet in forward fold. You can walk your hands back to stand or step your feet forward, whatever works better today. And then just find your way into a nice, easy forward fold. So in this fold, try to relax your head and your neck, let your head dangle. You can always find movement if that would feel good. You can rock from side to side if that would be nice. And then simply come to stillness. Bend your knees. Exhale, roll your way all the way up to standing. Inhale, rise and open. Exhale, hands come to heart center. Release your hands down by your sides. And if you're not already there, make your way toward the top of your mat so we can set up our first mountain pose of practice. As always, letting this first one be very conscious. Place your feet with intention. Feel them rooting down into the mat. Feel the way energy rises up when you firmly place your feet. Bring your hands to your belly. Give your belly some love. And then find that little triangle underneath your navel, those little muscles right there, and draw them in and up. You'll feel your tailbone lengthen naturally in response. Roll your shoulders back and down and let your palms face forward. On your inhale, sweep your fingertips to the sky. Exhale, fold all the way forward. Bend your knees and plant your fingers on a set of blocks or onto the mat. On your inhale, step your right foot back to lunge and lower that right knee down. So we'll begin our sun salutations right here. Make sure to frame that left shin with your hands, either on blocks or on fingertips on the mat. On your inhale, look forward. Exhale, shift back. Let your left hip draw back. That left leg starts to straighten out. Your toes might come off the mat a little bit here. Inhale forward to lunge. Now as you shift forward, melt your right hip toward the mat. Really feel your pelvis kind of reaching for the earth. Exhale, shifting back. Inhaling forward. And this flowing lunge just helps us begin to open up all of these muscles to gently introduce movement, fluidity, flexibility. Just follow your breath. Let your next inhale bring you all the way forward to lunge. Set your blocks to the side if you're using them and plant your hands. Find your way to tabletop. So let's keep moving our spines right here. Yogi's choice, cat-cow, or freeform spinal movement, whatever works better in your body right now for releasing points of tension. Find your way back to a neutral spine in tabletop. Walk your hands one handspan forward and shift your shoulders over your wrists. Set up your half plank. So remembering that in half plank, we want our knees, hips, and shoulders in one long line. Press the mat away, feel buoyancy in your shoulders here. And then with control, bend your elbows to lower your body slowly down to the earth. Lots of control here. Once you've touched down, walk your toes back. Bring your fingertips nice and wide. They can come out to either side. Begin to roll one shoulder and then the other. And we just feel this opening happening, loosening up our shoulder joints. Return your hands to beneath your shoulders and press back. Tabletop, or if you have one in your practice and you'd like to feel it, you're welcome to take downward facing dog here. Now, wherever you've landed, I'd like you to find some movement. So if you're in tabletop, that's cat-cow or freeform spinal movement. If you're joining me in downward facing dog, we are walking out our dogs, bending one knee and then the other, pedaling the feet, just finding some ease, some relaxation. Come to stillness in whichever position you happen to be in. Inhale to look forward. Exhale to step your right foot forward between your hands. Remember, multi-step movements are fine. If your back knee's lifted, go ahead and lower it down. And we're going to set up that same lunge on the right side. We just want to make sure that right knee is directly over the right ankle. Plant your hands, so fingertips on either side or maybe on a set of blocks. Inhale to look forward. Exhale, shift back. That right hip draws back. Right toes might rise a little bit. Inhale forward to lunge. Remembering to melt that left hip toward the mat, really stretching. Exhale, shift it back. And inhale forward. Inhale all the way forward to lunge. Turn your left toes under to lift your back knee. Look forward and step together. And fold. Soften. Find some ease. Rock from side to side if that would feel good. Remember to relax your jaw. Turn your head from side to side. And then come to stillness at the center. Bend your knees. Exhale. Roll your way up. Inhale. Rise and open. Exhale, hands come to heart center. Check in with your mountain pose. Reset if you need to. And then on your next inhale, rising up, sweeping those fingertips to the sky, exhaling all that energy down through heart center, following those fingertips down to the earth. Bend your knees, plant your fingertips. Inhale to step your left foot back to lunge. Lower your left knee down. So let's take this flowing lunge a little deeper. This time the setup is basically the same. Plant your hands to either side. Inhale to look forward. This time on your exhale, as you shift back, let the right toes rise. You can even walk your hands back a little further to get a deeper stretch. Inhale forward, melting the left hip toward the mat. And exhaling back, really stretching it out. Let your next inhale bring you all the way forward to lunge. From here, find your tabletop. Walk your hands, one hand span forward. Shift your shoulders over your wrists. Find your tabletop. Once again, engaging your belly, pressing the earth away so we feel that nice long tailbone. Now, yogi's choice here. So if you would like to stay in half plank, that's totally cool. If you would like to turn the heat up a little bit, turn your toes under and lift your knees. We are all going to make our way down to the mat slowly with control. And remember, if it becomes too much, just come on down. Walk your toes back once you've landed, and let's find creative cobra again. Bring your fingertips wide. Roll it out, one shoulder and then the other. Return your hands to beneath your shoulders. Press back, find your way, tabletop, or again, if you have one, you're welcome to take downward facing dog here. On your inhale, look forward. Exhale to step your left foot forward between your hands. If your back knee's lifted, please lower it down. Now check in again, right? We want to make sure that we have a safe lunge here. So that left knee is directly over the left ankle, and we plant our hands to either side. Inhale to look forward. Exhale this time as you shift back, left toes rise. You can walk your hands back if you'd like to get that deeper stretch. Inhaling forward, melt your right hip toward the mat. And exhale back. Let your next inhale bring you all the way forward to lunge. Turn your right toes under, lift that back knee, look forward and step together. And fold, soften. Feel the stretch in your lower back here. And one nice thing you can do to really increase that, bend your knees, press your belly to your thighs, and then lengthen your spine and then fold. And it'll create just a little more flattening across the back. And then on your next exhale, roll your way all the way up to standing. Inhale, sweep your fingertips to the sky. Exhale, hands come to heart center. Check back in with your mountain pose. Reset if you need to. On your inhale, rise and open. Exhale, fold forward. Bend your knees and plant your fingertips. Inhale to step your right foot back to lunge. Exhale, lower that right knee down to the mat. So we're going to start getting into our hips because, of course, our hips and low back pain are so linked, right? In yoga, we refer to it as the lumbopelvic hip complex because tension in one indicates tension in the others. So what I'd like you to do here is wiggle your left foot a little bit wide and bring your hands to the inside. So there are a few options for this flow. You can leave your fingertips tented. You can try planting them to the earth. If it's open to you, you can put a little bend in them, but it's still pretty early in practice. So I'm going to leave my arms extended here. We're just getting a deeper stretch in the hips. Inhale to look forward. Exhale, shifting back. And again, we can let those left toes rise here. Inhale forward. Really think about melting your hips toward the mat. And exhale back. Inhale all the way forward to lunge. We're going to bring those knees together. This time we're going to keep our hips high as we walk our hands forward for puppy dog pose. Now remember, if this is too much in your shoulder joint, just bend your elbows, bring your forearms to the mat. You can still get that benefit of the shoulder stretch, the stretch in the back without the tension in the shoulders. So from here, on your exhale, round your spine. Scoop your navel in. So we're going to lift up off the mat a little bit. Inhale, dive your heart toward the mat, maybe rolling to look forward. Exhaling, coiling in. Inhaling, rolling out. One more time. And then we're going to roll it all the way forward. Elbows down if they were up. Thread your heart between your arms, coming all the way down to your belly and setting up for Sphinx pose. So we'll walk the toes back and then draw the elbows in so that they are directly beneath the shoulders. Now let your forearms radiate straight out from the elbows. Spread your fingers and plant your hands. Turn your toes under. Press into your forearms to feel a lot of buoyancy in your shoulders. Draw your awareness to where your belly's resting on the mat. And on your exhale, begin to roll your way up. Finding your way up to forearm plank. Even if you only stay here for a second, that is awesome because this is tough. Breathe wherever you happen to be. Remember, you can always drop your knees and still be experiencing a lot of the benefits of this pose. And then everyone roll it down, knees, quads, hips. Make a pillow with your hands, rest your head, rock your hips from side to side. Come back to center, to stillness. Press your way back. Tabletop or downward facing dog, yogi's choice. On your inhale, look forward. Exhale to step the right foot forward between your hands. Lower your left knee down if it's lifted. So we're going to set up that slightly deeper lunge here. So again, we want to make sure we're starting with that right knee directly over the right ankle, but then we're going to wiggle that right foot a little wide. Hands come to the inside. Yogi choice, right? Fingertips, maybe up on blocks, maybe palms are flat. Maybe a couple people even have their elbows bent. I'm going to keep my arms extended because again, we're early in practice here. Inhale to look forward. Exhale, shift back. Again, those right toes can rise. Inhale forward. As you do, really focus on melting the left hip toward the earth. Exhaling back. Let your inhale bring you all the way forward to lunge. Turn your left toes under to lift the back knee. Now you're going to want to wiggle that right foot in a little bit since it was wide so we can make that step forward even. Look forward and step together and surrender. Let's wiggle the feet a little bit wider so that in this forward fold, we're getting even more into the hips and the lower back. So maybe you can find the mat with your fingertips now, rocking a little bit from side to side. And then come back to center. Bend your knees. Exhale, roll your way up. Inhale, rise and open. Exhale, hands come to heart center. All right, last time through our opening salutation, find your mountain pose again. On your next inhale, rise and open. Exhale, hands come to heart center. One more deep, beautiful breath, rising, opening. And exhale, let's follow it all the way through this time. Bend your knees, plant your fingertips. Inhale to step your left foot back to lunge. And let's lower that left knee down. So once again, we're going to wiggle that right foot wide. This time, we're going to stay in this hip stretch. So I invite you to explore in a few different ways here. So you can leave your fingertips extended. You can come down to the palms of your hands. You can bend your elbows, right? So we find the point where we're feeling that stretch. Depending on how your body is feeling, you might be able to come down to your forearms on a block. So notice how this feels, right? Stretches should feel good, not scary. So we want to find the point where this is comfortable. For maybe just a couple people with very open hips, you can come all the way down to your forearms on the mat. And wherever you have landed, just breathe. From here, walk your hands up, knees together. We bring the hips over the knees, and then walk our hands forward. Melt your heart. Puppy dog pose, remembering you can always bend your elbows here. And then let's find that beautiful breath pattern. Exhaling, rounding your lower back, rounding your spine. Inhaling, diving your heart toward the mat. And exhale. On your next inhale, roll your body all the way out and down, coming through and down to the belly. Walk your toes back, create space. Draw your elbows to directly beneath your shoulders. Radiate your arms straight up from those elbows. Spread your fingers, plant your hands, press into your forearms. Draw your awareness to where your belly is resting on the earth and turn your toes under. On your exhale, begin to roll it up. Navel, hips, knees, forearm plank. Try to keep your breathing even here. Nice and slow and smooth. Hi, Amber. How are you? And then with control, we roll it down. Knees, quads, hips. Make a pillow with your hands and rest your head. Rock your hips from side to side. If windshield wiper legs feel good here, feel free to add them in. Just rest, coming back to your breath. Return your toes to the mat. Fingertips come back to beneath the shoulders and press it back. Tabletop or downward facing dog. Find your way into stillness. Inhale to look forward. Exhale to step your left foot forward between your hands. Lower your right knee down to the mat. So let's find that nice deep hip stretch on the left side. We're going to wiggle the left foot wide and bring our hands to the inside. So same options, fingertips, palms, elbows bent, maybe a block. And for maybe just a couple people with very open hips, you can come down to your forearms. This is sometimes called lizard pose. Wherever you are, just breathe into the stretch. And then simply walk your hands back. We're going to turn those right toes under to lift the back knee and heel toe the left foot back in. Inhale to look forward. Exhale, step together and fold. Full lunar pause right here. Surrender, find some ease. Come to stillness, bend your knees, exhale, roll your way all the way up, inhale, rise and open. Exhale, hands come to heart center. Release your hands down by your sides. From here, we're going to make our way all the way down to the mat for core cultivation. So let's start by rolling down onto our backs. Come all the way down to the mat. Once you've found that lovely, comfortable spot, begin to rock from side to side. Just massaging your lower back on the earth. Maybe finding some big circles with the knees, whatever helps you feel good here. And then come to stillness at the center. Now from here, draw your navel toward your spine. So you're feeling your belly sort of contracted and your lower back firmly connected to the mat. Relax your palms down. Let's find some hip circles while we're here. So it doesn't matter which leg you start with, but open one of them out to the side, then down, and all the way through. So we're drawing these big, beautiful circles. Try to keep your core engaged this whole time. That'll keep your lower back from pulling off of the mat. And let's feel that on the other side. Switch legs, opening out to the side, down and around and through. And again, just keep your belly a little bit engaged here. And then find your way back to center, drawing both knees in. Now from here, we're going to draw our knees open so they're coming toward the armpits. Press your heels toward the sky while leaving your knees bent. On your exhale, press your palms between your feet. So we're finding sort of a squatting position here. Inhale back down to the mat. Exhaling, pressing away. Inhaling back down. We're just going to pulse right here. This is sometimes called supine crow pose. And then draw everything in. Rock from side to side. Let it go. Great job. All right, one more core cultivator while we're down here. Let your toes touch and open your knees out to either side. So we're making a diamond shape in the legs. You might float your feet a little bit to make that diamond shape even more pronounced. Sweep your fingertips to the sky. Interlace all of your fingers except your index fingers. So we're making a pointer finger. On your exhale, press your fingers between, like through that diamond, right? So we're kind of crunching up off the mat. Your shoulders will leave the mat. Inhaling back down. Exhale, pointing through the diamond. Inhaling back down. Now you can stay in this slow flow or on your next exhale, sustain, and we're going to pulse for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let it go. Come on back down to the mat. Roll, rock, turn your head from side to side. Relax your jaw. Coming to stillness at the center, we're going to rock our way all the way up to seated, and from here make our way to standing. So I'm going to adjust my camera while you make your way to your feet. Let's set up with a nice wide stance on the mat. So we're going to be facing the broad side of the mat. Let your toes point out to either side a little bit. So we've got about a 45-degree angle in the feet. And let's start with a simple goddess or full moon flow. Inhale, sweep your fingertips to the sky. Exhale, as your hands pass down through heart center, bend your knees. High yoga squat, sometimes called malasana. Inhaling, rising. Exhaling, sinking down. Inhale. And exhale. Now, invitation for practice to change. You can stay right here in this flow. You're also welcome to come down to malasana and sustain. Now, when you're in high yoga squat, you have some options here, right? So you can bring your hands to your heart, you can bring them to your thighs. Breathe. Added challenge, you can always lift your heels up off the mat. That's a little crazy and very uncomfortable, but it does make you strong. And release. Inhaling, sweep the fingertips to the sky. Exhale, hands to heart center. Turn your feet to be parallel to each other so they're now facing forward. Inhale, sweep your fingertips to the sky. Exhale, nice wide-legged forward fold, bowing over your legs. Relax the back of your head and your neck. And let's find a little bit of movement here. So bend your right knee, sink over to the right side. Inhale to center, bend your left knee, sink over to the left side. It's just a little bit of flowing Skandasana. And then walk your hands all the way to your right side. Turn that right foot to face the short side of the mat. Leave your left foot dialed out to the side. Exhale, roll it up, warrior two. Release your hands down once you arrive. Take a moment to settle and root that pose. So if you're feeling unstable, wiggle your feet around. Turn your heart to face the broad side of the mat. Radiate your arms. Flip your right hand to face the sky. Inhale, sweep up and back, reverse warrior. Exhale, bring that right hand or your right elbow to the right knee, reach your left arm long, extended side angle. Inhaling up and back. And exhale. All right, on this next exhale, we are going to sustain through extended side angle. So you can keep your right elbow on your knee. If you'd like to take this one a little deeper, you can bring your right hand to the mat or to a block, or you can grab your shin right here or your ankle and just breathe. Continuing to let the hips open, feeling that stretch, all that strength being created. And then lower that left hand down to the mat. Walk to the broad side, turning your right foot to be parallel to the left. We're going to find that wide-legged forward fold again, just bowing, relaxing the head and the neck. Now to continue to work on lower back tension from here, shift your weight into your heels. Tip your tailbone a little more toward the sky. Walk your hands forward and then soften your heart toward the mat. So we're getting a nice deep back stretch right here. You're probably also feeling this in your hamstrings, at least if your hamstrings are anything like mine. And then walk your hands back. We're going to reach them through. So we'll reach behind or through the legs. Again, relaxing the head and the neck, this time letting the back round. Keep shifting your weight into your heels, though. Keep tipping that tailbone to get a really nice back body stretch. Walk your hands back to that forward position and then walk them over to the left side of the mat. Turning that left foot to face the short side of the mat, leaving the right foot dialed out to the side. Exhale, roll your way up, blossoming out, Vira 2. Relax your arms down. Once again, taking a moment to ground this pose, right? So we settle, we find stability. Open to the broad side of the mat and radiate your arms. Flip your left hand to face the sky. Inhale, sweep up and back. Exhale. Left hand or left elbow, right arm reaches long. Inhaling up and back. Now, on this next exhale, we're going to sustain through extended side angle. So you can leave your left elbow on the knee. You can also bring your left hand down, maybe to the mat, maybe to your ankle or foot or shin, sinking just a little deeper in the hips. Remember, every time we're somewhere tough, keep your breath long and slow and smooth. This is the part where yoga is retraining your brain in terms of how to handle uncomfortable situations, how to handle challenge. And exhale. Let that right hand come down to the mat. Walk your hands to the center and bow. Release. Wide-legged forward fold. You can wiggle around a little bit here if that would feel good, if that would help release tension. Now from here, you can simply heel toe your feet in, roll your way up to standing. So we've been working toward garland pose today, which is a nice stretch of the lower back and the hips. And there are a few different ways to get there. The first one I'd like to show you is actually done on the back, which takes all of the risk of falling over out of the equation. So what I'd like you to do is come down and lie on your back on your mat. I'm going to adjust my camera real quick. So start down. Draw your knees toward your armpits and press your heels toward the sky. So right, just where we were when we were doing core cultivation. However, this time we're going to bring the hands to prayer and the elbows to the insides of the knees. We're going to gently open those knees out, right, by pressing into them with the elbows. So this can be a pretty intense hip stretch, but what's great right here, there's no gravity really interfering, and you can bring your elbows wider or narrower. Now, if you have really tight hips, something that can help, slow breaths, of course, but gently open out and then gently come back in. Not a bounce, mind you, just a slow sort of rolling motion. So this is option A, right? And you can always come back here. If we move to garland when we're on our feet and it's really tough, come back here, okay? So then option 2, of course, is that we can sort of explore garland pose on our feet. If you'd like to take that path, rock forward. And we're going to find our way up to a low squat. So my preferred way to do this is to walk my hands forward and kind of balance on them as I find where a good position for my feet is. Now, some humans can do this with their heels touching the floor. I'm not one of those humans. It does seem to be a bit rare in our culture. So if you're on your tippy toes, no big deal. Once you've found this position for garland, right hips are nice and wide, you can begin to experiment with lifting your hands up off the mat. So a couple different ways to approach this, right? If this is enough work on balance, you stay right here, just letting those hips be open. If you've got your balance, hands come to prayer, just like when we were supine, and you can begin to press your elbows into your knees to open your hips out even more. Once you've found a good stretch, there's a little pulse, right? Because of course there is. It's yoga, there's gotta be. On your exhale, coil your tailbone under. So you're gonna feel your navel drawing toward your spine. Inhaling to lengthen and exhaling to coil. And let's all release. So if you are on your feet, let your hands come down to the mat, heels come down to the mat, easy forward fold. If you're on your back, draw your knees back into center and rock from side to side. From here, we are all going to make our way to child's pose. So come on down to the mat if you're up. Sweep your feet around if you're already down, of course. Let your toes touch and your knees open out toward either side. We're going to begin to sink our hips toward our heels. Walk your hands forward, melting your belly between your thighs. Forearms can come down to the mat here. You can rest your head on the mat, rock from side to side a little bit, and just notice how your hips feel. How do your lower back feel? How does your lower back feel? And then walk your hands back. Sweep your feet around to the front. We're going to find our way to butterfly pose. Bring the soles of your feet together. Now, we have been in hips and lower back all practice. I mean, from the moment we sat on the mat. So your hips are probably feeling pretty open right now. In butterfly pose, this hip stretch is determined by how close your heels are to your body. So you can experiment with a position for them. You might find you can get them a lot closer to your body without having that C-shape experience happen in your back. So once you've found a good position where you can keep your spine nice and long and also be able to find your feet or your ankles, inhale to lengthen your spine. Exhale, hinge from the hips, right? So we're feeling that back stay nice and flat all the way down. Once you have found your optimum position, like this is where my body stops for this stretch, then bow your head, round your spine, close your eyes. Come into your breath, into your intention or your dedication. If it's open to you, you can always bring your elbows to your inner thighs or to your calf muscles and apply a gentle downward pressure to open your hips a little more. Gently roll your way back up to seated. Draw your left heel in and plant your right foot out in front of you. So we're going to set up for our seated twist here. Remember, you have options. You can leave this right foot exactly where it is. You can also bring it to the outside of the left knee. Remembering, if you've chosen that option, feet and hips both need to be touching down. If you're floating somewhere, bring your right foot back to center. Sweep your right hand down and back, plant that right hand, roll your right shoulder back and down and press into your hand to get lots of length in your spine. Reach your left arm to the sky and exhale, turn to the right. Elbow to knee or palm to knee, begin to turn your heart toward the back of the room. Staying in your yoga breath pattern, remember, inhale, lengthen, exhale, surrender. Inhale, come back to center. Sweep your hands over to the left, bow your head. And melt. Let's set that on the other side. Come on back up and let's switch out the feet. So we're going to draw that right heel in and plant the left foot out in front of us. Same choices for seated twist on this side. You can always bring your left foot over your right knee. Again, if you're floating, come back to center. Sweep your left hand behind you, plant that hand, roll your shoulder back and down and press to lengthen. Inhale, reach your right arm to the sky. Exhale, elbow to knee or palm to knee, beginning to turn your heart toward the back of the room. And just that gentle reminder for your yoga breath pattern, inhaling and exhaling into the twist, just a little more. And release. Sweep your hands over to the right. Plant your fingertips and bow your head. Come back to center. Let's measure out for a forward fold. So align your heels with the bottom of the mat. That ensures that we'll have plenty of space to fold forward and then also to come back for Shavasana afterwards. So once you have aligned your heels with the bottom of the mat, draw your knees in without moving your hips. Snuggle your belly down to your thighs. You can find your shins with your hands or maybe your ankles. A couple people might find the bottoms of their feet. Once you've found the thing you are holding on to, inhale, create length. Exhale, walk your heels out a little bit. When your belly and your thighs disconnect, feel that point of connection again. Snuggle down. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale, walk your heels out a little bit. Snuggle down. Inhale to lengthen. And keep adjusting until you find your perfect forward fold. In most bodies, that is done with the knees slightly bent. You want to feel your belly and your thighs barely touching, and a stretch all the way along the backs of your legs into your lower back, sometimes even into your shoulders. Once you've found that place, surrender. Close your eyes and bow your head. Gently walk your hands back. Roll your way onto your back, drawing your knees in as you come down. Sorry, Amber. Draw your knees in and rock from side to side. Now, if there is any additional movement, any asana, anything you would like to feel, take a moment for that sensation. So maybe it's happy baby, which is perfect with all of the hip and back stuff we've done. Maybe it's a twist, making a T with the arms and dropping the knees onto one side. Maybe it's an inversion or a back bend. Whatever would feel really, really good. That's what goes right here. And then when you are ready, begin to make your way toward your Shavasana, your expression of corpse pose. As always, you have options. Traditional Shavasana is done with the heels wide. Shoulders are relaxed, palms face the sky. In my body and in many's, this causes some discomfort in the lower back. We feel the lower back pulling off the mat. If that's the case with you, bend your knees. Keep your feet nice and wide and just let your knees fall together at the center to support you. You can also take child's pose here. You can take supine goddess pose here. And of course, seated meditation is always an option. Begin to soften into the position you have selected. Allow all the places where your body is touching the mat or the earth to just melt, to become a little bit less distinct. Relax your jaw. Relax your eyes and your forehead. Feel those deep, beautiful breaths. And then simply let go and float. allow your breath to create space within your body. And begin to find some little wiggles of your fingertips and your toes, just bringing you back to this day, to this time. Point your toes away and reach your arms up overhead. Take a nice deep breath in, stretching out. And then exhale to draw your knees into your chest and rock from side to side. Eventually find your way all the way over onto your right side and just curl into the posture of the sleeping child. No tension at all. Come back one more time to your dedication, to your intention for your practice. And then as you are ready, use your hands to help press yourself up into a nice, easy seated position. Bring your hands to heart center and close your eyes. We're going to close our practice with a round of Om Shanti Shanti Shanti, a prayer for peace. Inhale. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Thank you so much for sharing your practice with me this morning. Namaste. Thank you, everyone. I am so sorry about the cats today. You two are bad. Stop
They
the
make
recording.